Do you need content that inspires you, stories you could relate to, or talent that is simply too dope to describe? Welcome to Farenheight TV. Farenheight TV. Farenheight TV is a live monthly variety show that showcases people's greatness through narratives and artistic expression. We're back this summer to bring you more live, sizzling talk and entertainment to uplift your soul. Tune into our live episodes here on BNN TV or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be sure to follow us on social media to keep up with all our latest news. We hope that you'll tune in. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to Farenheight TV. I missed you guys. I can't believe that it's been a whole year. It's almost the end of 2018, and we've had so much fun with all these incredible artists. And you know, it's the holiday season, and I know busy is an adjective that everyone could relate to. I mean, we're talking about like holidays coming up, we're talking about presents and all the sort of things that we have on our list. But sometimes I think we forget to, you know, really process the year and talk about all the incredible things we've done and the people that we're lucky to know. For us here at Farenheight TV, one of the things we're very thankful for and, you know, continue to be inspired by is our local community heroes. One of them is a multi-talented artist that lives right here in the Roxbury community. She has won countless awards for her poetry, including the 2017 Woman of the World Poetry Slam Champion. She has 5 nominations for a Boston Music Award, and she continues to inspire, uplift, and educate her community. And what's so awesome about her is that she's such a humble soul. She is like a warrior spirit, one that I like to think of as a soul rebel, because she's been through so many things, but despite that, she makes her story part of her epic legacy, one that's still growing and one that we're witnessing right here in the Boston area. So with that being said, I'm so excited to welcome Oompa to the Farenheight TV stage. Thank you so much, Oompa, for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Let me just say, I've been a fan since I got to witness some of your greatness at the Haley House Bakery.
Oh, wow,
yeah. When you're doing your poetry, like poetry on Fridays, and it's just like so deep that I'd be at the register like, like, wow, it's like so much you're saying. Like the stories is like something you have to be very attentive to.
Thank you.
And like it just like it has so many emotions. So you could be like emotional, or you could be like, wow, I'm so inspired. You could be like empowered, like so many things. And I could continue to give you like so many like compliments because you're really a dope soul.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you for coming on the stage.
I'm happy to be here.
So I know you've been busy. You've been on tour this year. You've been doing a lot of things. So before we get into all that, can you tell us a little bit about your artistic journey? Like what inspired you to get into music and poetry?
For sure.
And, you know, some of your inspirations.
Yeah, so I've always been a big fan of music. My mom was, she was born in the 30s, so like I grew up listening to like funk and soul and like old R&B, like, so that was like, so if you have a soul, you love music, then if you're listening to that music. I grew up listening to music, and then I remember being introduced to hip hop, and I was like, oh, it's over. Like, I'm not Whitney, but I can do this. So I started like really listening to it. And then in middle school, I got into like freestyle rapping with my boy. And we used to just battle people in middle school. And then I was like, oh, okay, you know, I'm going to high school. I'm putting away childish games now. I'm not going to do this anymore. Although I always like I kept writing, but I didn't show anybody because I somehow became more shy as I got older, and also more extroverted.
All of us. I don't know why. It's like we start to close up.
We care about what people think about us. And then when we're kids, we don't care. And I put it away, and then when I got to college, I was like, okay, cool, I'll do an open mic here and open mic there. And 2 of my best friends are poets from like Feel It Speak It. So Jadi and Free, they did poetry. I'm like, what is this poetry stuff y'all talking about? And they used to like sneak me into these events all the time, and I would be like, oh, this is really cool. This is like rap, but like less anxiety inducing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a story, but like, I mean, for you, I think it's perfect because your lyricism is so like, you know, you have a great flow.
Thank you.
So it's just like when you have some deep messages plus the soul music that you grew up with, and you put hip hop. I mean, it's dangerously good.
Wow, thank you. Appreciate that. I mean. No, I'm shy. Okay.
No, sorry.
But nah, like, so I don't know. I just, I I was in school and I was like, okay, cool, you know, I'm writing poems. Actually, it was a creative writing major with a focus in poetry.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
I don't know how that happened. Actually, when I say that, I'm like, that happened to me.
Yeah.
Because I started off as a math major, but life happened.
Wow, that's so like opposite.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna be a math teacher my whole life.
Wow.
I was like, okay, if I can't be a rapper, if I can't be left eye, then I'm just gonna be, I don't know, like something else that's great. And I was like, I'll be a math teacher.
So is Left Eye like one of the like hip hop artists you looked up to?
When I was a kid, I thought I was left eye. So I thought I was. I was confused when I learned I wasn't her. Like I was just like, this is me. But yeah. So she was one of the people I looked up to a lot growing up. And just because she was like a woman at the center, and then like Eve was a huge inspiration for me. Yeah, I don't really know about Eve right now.
She's not making that many like music. I don't know of anymore, but
yeah, and she has a lot to say about people now that
I think
doing, you know,
things like change sometimes.
Yeah.
But like in the '90s, in the early 2000s, oh
That
my
was
gosh,
her.
with Rough Riders, it was like. That's what was up. It was like,
that was
yes,
me. I knew I wasn't her, but I was like, I could be like her.
You could
I
definitely,
do this.
you could be even better.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what inspired you to go full time? Because you're in school,
yeah.
you're doing creative writing, you're doing all this, and I know a lot of things are happening.
Yeah, like life was happening, but I was like, okay, you know, like for a while I was like, okay, my motivation in life is I want to get out the hood. I want to make sure my mother's taken care of. What's the fastest way to do that? And somebody was like, oh, college. And I was like, oh, man, like I got to do this thing.
Yeah.
And so I did the thing. And when my mom passed, it was like, okay, what am I doing this? Like, what am I doing now? Who am I doing what for? And I had to and I didn't know the answer to that for a long time.
And you're so young figuring this all out. You're like in your
18.
really early,
Yeah,
18. You're
18.
a baby still.
Yeah, just like trying to figure it out, you know? And I just was like, all right, cool. Like, let me figure something out. So I started performing more because that's what I wanted to do. And then I was like, man, there's no feeling like this in the world of like writing something I love and then sharing it.
Yeah.
So I got it, you know, like more and more, just like little avenues here, a radio there, a little open mic here, like on campus. And then I came home and I was doing a Philly speaking mic there.
Yeah.
And I just kept wanting to develop my craft and try it and develop my craft and try it. And eventually I was trying it and it was going well.
Yeah.
Made the album and I was like, okay, y'all, like this is me. This album is me both paying homage to my mother.
Yep.
And also remembering what happened, but also being like, okay, how would my mother want me to remember her?
Yeah, yeah.
She would want me to have the best life possible doing what I love. And I knew it was music.
Yeah.
And so I was like, music and performing. And I was like, all right, that's it. And I let the contract run out in June of 2017.
Yeah.
And I haven't looked back. And I've been full time.
And I'm so happy you did. And like listening to this album, I mean, like you guys need to really listen to this album. It's so dope if you haven't already.
Thank you.
But like, was it therapeutic in a way? Because like when I'm listening to the album from the start to the finish, it's like you talk about a lot of different themes. So you talk about some of the grief, you talk about like growing up and the foster care system and being from the hood at inner city, and then you're also talking about like Black empowerment and being queer and proud and like so many different themes. And I'm like, it's almost like a growing up story, like like a coming of age. Yeah. And it's like refreshing because there's not a lot of stories you hear like that anymore.
Yeah.
Like you're really bringing the true essence of hip hop back.
Wow,
From like but
you.
for real, because the true essence of hip hop was storytelling. And people would talk about their lives.
Right,
it wasn't just to like sell it necessarily.
Right.
So like, was this therapeutic for you when you were
so.
doing this?
And I didn't even know it at the time. For me, I was like, I just need these stories to get out of me. Like I need this stuff to get out of me. Like, and like, how do I do that? And then as I'm writing the album, I'm like, wow, okay, I'm midway through it, and I'm like, I get the idea that like I'm learning stuff about myself, you know, and learning stuff that I didn't even know I was processing, or I didn't even know that I made this connection, and I'm like, wow, I'm making these connections, and I look back on the album now, and November 3rd just passed, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Can you tell us why you named the album November 3rd? Like, what's the meaning behind that?
So it was the day of my mother's passing.
Okay.
And I was like,
is she on the cover? Is that
she's
her
on the cover? Yeah,
okay.
That's my mother at one of her house parties. Just
oh, nice.
Just a random, just a random moment. I don't even know. The picture spoke to me, and I was like, I kind of want this to like be this cover to be meta. So it was like a picture of her in this moment, and I looked around and I was like, oh, this is my life. And so like I just wanted the picture of the cover to be meta, like just me observing this and also living. Yeah.
You know, it's deep because
Yeah.
I mean, it's a part of you. Your mom is a part of you, so it's
Yeah.
almost like an introduction to you, like the person who brought you, you know, who showed you the world and everything.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is me. Like, welcome.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I wanted. And so I named it November 3rd to both, like I said, like memorialize that day, and to like also think about what stories came out of my mother's passing and how that was like a pivotal, you know, terrible time in my life, and also like a time for reflection, but then also to rededicate that day to like my mother's memory instead of her, like instead of the loss of her.
Exactly.
And you know, when you say is it therapeutic, the answer has to be yes, because November 3rd passed, and I'm like, wow, look at all the amazing things. I only put out one tape in my life, one project in my life, and like it changed the course of my life.
It does, yeah.
And I have to think about what November 3rd, the day, means because of that.
But you see how you made that day that's like was so tragic,
Yeah.
like now something like a part of a legacy.
Yeah.
Like that's like so incredible because
Yeah.
like, and I think that's what's so dope about poetry in general is that you could take, you know, a story and you could, you know, you could tell it to the world, but you can make it like something bigger than it is.
Yeah.
So rebel.
It's like one
Yeah.
personal thing could be like a reflection of the whole world. It's like, that's crazy. Like,
It
look at
is,
us
like-
as like little micro somethings in the universe, but we
Yeah.
important. We weren't here, like the earth wouldn't move the way it moved.
Exactly.
Small,
like,
small stuff.
some deep stuff on a Thursday night. So I'm also thinking, right, like, because when I'm following you on Instagram, I'm seeing your story. I went to the BAM Fest this summer,
Oh,
and
yeah,
like
that
it
was an
was
amazing
so
festival.
epic. Shout out
Yeah.
to Kat Morse, and like
Yeah.
it was just so dope. And I'm like thinking like the whole time, like how do you feel on stage? Is your energy like no matter if you're doing an open mic or you're on stage, like
Yeah.
I'm hyped all the way.
Yeah.
Like I'm really intrigued, or I'm like ooh, like really
Yeah.
intrigued.
Yeah.
So how do you feel when you're on those different platforms, on an open mic versus, you know,
Yeah,
a main
alive.
stage? Alive, yeah.
Yeah, just alive. Like I feel like top of my aliveness. Like yeah, I just when I'm on stage, I just like I don't know. I just feel like the self I always want to be
Yeah.
is like there, is alive.
Your
Oompa
alter
is
ego, like, there.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
not even. I like. It's like maybe it's my alter ego, but it's just like everything I aspire to be happens on stage. Like I just want to be. I just want to be demanding. I want to be exciting. I want to be loved. I want to be like. I want people to listen to me. I'm a middle child. I want people to pay attention to me. I want to be people to listen to me.
Yeah.
But I also just want to share like moments with people. You know, like and there's no like for me better exchange than like when I'm performing. So like yeah, it's like I'm alive.
That's just, and you make people feel alive and like, because I remember it was like raining that day and
Yeah.
people were like, man, the rain, but like you'd even, like I was like, oh, this rain is like feeling good right now. Like, I was just like, yo, I deserve that. Like we were just like, the energy was just so alive.
Yeah.
Like, but also even like when I'm like, you know, watching your poetry, I'm just like I'm really intrigued into the story. So like
Yeah.
we're gonna take a short break because I
Yeah.
really want to get into your creative mind of like
Okay.
how you know come up with all of that content.
Let's do it.
So DJ Lady Lee is gonna bring us to a break with some dope music by Oompa.
I got your girl, and she don't like girls. She don't like girls. Oh. Look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, just a fly mother. Black girl that came to slay, came to wrap up everything in my Venus track. Get caught up in these crosshairs, you won't get that feeling back. That could be your girlfriend, that don't mean your penis jack. Temper turn into convertible, one push your ceiling.
Your son wants to get a cat,
I'll really take care of it.
but you're allergic. Do you A, prepare yourself, B, make the best of it,
C squared equals
25.
Good job.
or C, find a loophole? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Fahrenheit TV.
You know how it go when we asking how it happened. She said she like my
Hey everyone, I hope that you're jamming to that song by Oompa. We are here with her live on Farenheight TV and we're learning about her incredible journey. That song was super dope. What song was that? Can you talk a little bit about that song?
That song is called Your Girl. I'm trifling and petty, so that's number one. And the song is basically just about like, I feel like every queer person, but I can only speak for queer, like women, non-binary people. Just when I say that, like everybody has that experience of like the straight girl who don't really like girls, but she kind of like you, and then you have this fun moment.
Yeah.
She's probably gonna break your heart, but it don't matter because you got the straight girl.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
There's a lot of those in college, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of those in college.
I know a few. I'm guilty to say.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
There's
So,
a few.
it's
But
like
that's
that.
good. It's a really like pick up catchy like song, and I like the message because I'm sure there's a lot of people that can relate.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, like,
Yeah.
I mean, on your website, you even put like, you know, that you're all about like Black empowerment and queer, and like from the why is that so important for you to be representing those different things?
Yeah, I think first, like, it's unavoidable, and so I think like it just is first.
Yes.
And there's like important or not, it just is
Yeah.
the first part, and then the second part is like I remember the first time I saw somebody who represented something I represented, like not the first time I saw that, but the first time I saw somebody who like was Black, queer, like tomboy, masculine, and it was Janae Johnson.
Yeah.
And Portia O, like who are my friends now.
They're both
but
really dope too.
they're both
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah,
And when
yeah.
I saw them for the first time, I was like at Janae's show one day, and I was like, man, it's something for you not to have to explain yourself to somebody.
Exactly,
For you
yeah.
to like you can just live in the world and they understand how you exist, what you're afraid of, where you exist at, and you don't have to explain that to anybody.
And you could feel valid that you deserve to be here and that there's space for
Yes.
you and that there should be space for a lot of people
for everybody
who feel
there.
alone.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, that's dope.
That's 100% it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's important for me because, like, you know, I'm like a teacher at heart. Like, I learned that I don't have to be in a classroom to be a teacher.
Exactly.
Or to, like, care about education. Like, I don't care about school, but I care about education. And we can talk about that if we need to. But that's
Yeah.
just where I stand. And, like, I feel like, you know, the fact that I'm an aunt, the fact that I'm a sister to somebody, I'm a friend to somebody, you know, whatever the case is, I feel like it's important for me to, like,
Be your authentic
to-
self.
that's it.
Yeah.
To just be who I am and like and hope that somebody says, yo, I could be who I am because I'm looking at this person do it.
Yeah.
And they're not losing anything from doing it.
Exactly.
You know, and they could win also like doing it.
Yes.
You know? So
yes.
I hope to win.
No, you
Yeah.
already are winning, and I could tell you that, like, I look up to you, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who look up to you as a role model
Thank
from
you.
afar. Even if, you know what I
Wow.
mean? Because people watch, someone always told me, someone's always watching even if you don't think
Yeah.
they are. Not to be creepy, but
No,
like,
that's not
just saying,
creepy.
like,
Yeah.
you know, they're seeing your greatness, like, yo, that's dope. I like when she or he does that. That's really,
Yeah,
really
thank
incredible.
you.
So you are educating. And I mean, music, I think, is the best tool to educate because it's universal.
Yeah.
And so you are already on that path.
Thank
so
you.
speaking about music.
Yeah, let's do this.
So if your song was a recipe, right?
Okay.
What ingredients would you need to make it like a dope Oompa song? Like to make it like, this is a hit I love. Like,
Yeah.
you know, your girl, I deserve. Like, what do you need in there? Is there's like the lyrics, the beat? Like, how is your process?
Okay,
of
so not like
creating this?
cilantro, but like what? Like
Yeah, yeah.
figuratively.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah,
speaking. Okay.
figuratively. I mean, you
All right,
can
'cause
get a little bit of that too.
I
if
like
you want.
cilantro. Like
Yeah.
you need cilantro and some salt and pepper. I mean, you need some seasoning.
Yeah,
but
definitely
nah,
season it. Yeah.
What I need is I need I always start with a beat that speaks to me. Like I feel like I know this sounds corny, but like if I hear a song and I'm like, okay, the song tells me what it needs to be. So I never write a song and then I find a beat later for it and I put it together.
Yeah.
Cause sometimes, or unless there's like, this is the story that I already, like unless it makes sense.
Yeah.
But so I need lyrics. I need a story. I need honesty.
Yes.
I need to mean everything I say.
Definitely.
I
You're
need
a
some
poet,
good
so
drums
has to be.
and I need a great mix.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's dope. Okay, so that is like a world
Oh,
like.
blood. It needs to be bloody.
Okay.
It gotta be bloody for me. It don't
Do
have
you
to.
mean like when you say blood, like MJ Bad Blood, or you're like,
Yeah.
like it needs to be like nasty, like oh yeah, I ain't ready for this track type of thing.
I needed to bend to have survived something. Like I needed
okay.
to have been through something. I needed to be ready to go through something. Like the art that I appreciate the most is the one that is like bloody. It like means something. Like if it's just for the sake of, like there's so many people who just do it just because they can.
Yeah.
That doesn't
Unfortunately,
speak
that's
to me.
yeah.
You like it doesn't have to be this lyrical, punchy, boom bap. It doesn't have to be that. Like it could be a top 40 song. It could be a trap song. It doesn't matter. It could be a country.
Yeah.
I don't really. It could be.
That's what you mean, yeah.
But it has to be bloody. It has to mean something for me. Like you
Okay.
can't just write it because you could say that you wrote it. It has to be bloody.
You could tell that you grew up listening to like old school music.
Yeah.
And because like I listen to a lot more old school music. It was not old school to everybody.
Yeah.
But like those musicians, like those artists, like wrote with a purpose.
Yeah.
And that's what you do. You write with a purpose, and you're making your legacy like live on and on and on.
Yeah.
But that's what they did back in the like before like the early '90s. I think that's where you really got that pure. I don't think there's a lot of artists now that are doing that, unfortunately. Like there's maybe a few, maybe that they're not really known. They're like underground or not. What do you think? Like, do you think that like there's a like our musicality in general could be like a little bit better for our generation?
You know what? I think that is great. I think a lot of what was easiest to consume are the things that kind of like if my recipe is a baked chicken Thanksgiving meal.
Yeah.
Then some of what we hear on the radio, what's most accessible to us is cereal.
Okay.
And they both do their job. They both can feed you depending on what you're looking for. Some doesn't fill you up. Some, and maybe it does to some. Maybe cereal is the only meal that somebody needs to survive in the day. And so I think everything has its place. It's just what moves me is like, I need chicken.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. So everyone has like their own little
Everything
thing.
has a lane, and I think I think there's a lot of great music happening too that you don't have to look hard for. But I think if you were to turn your radio on immediately, you might hear Post Malone, for example.
Yeah.
And to me, that's not even a fruit like a.
Yeah, it's not your
It's not
type
a seed.
of yeah.
So
what artists do you look up to that you're listening to now?
Cole,
Yes.
Kendrick, Big Crit, J Rock,
Yes.
JID and Earth Gang. Yeah, I like anybody from the TDE camps.
Yeah, they're awesome.
And anybody from the Dreamville camp. You can guarantee that they'll be
because they tell
on.
stories. You know what I mean? So,
they
and
mean
it's
something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's a bigger purpose.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us what's going on now? Like, do you have any performances coming off? You just stopped touring.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us like what's coming up for Oompa that we can look forward to?
Okay, so I'm performing at the Boston Music Awards this year.
Yes,
at the House of Blues.
congratulations on
Thank
being
you.
nominated for 5 different awards. 6. Oh, excuse me. I'm wishing you win because like you deserve it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. I hope I win something. That'd be nice. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
I put it in my living room.
You deserve it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate
so you're
that.
performing there, and that's December 12th?
12.
Yep.
And then the next day I have a show where I'm doing all new music for the album that I'm making.
Oh, nice.
So December 13th at the Great Scott. I'm at Queen's Talk another day in December.
Nice.
And then I'm curating a show over at the Boston Center for the Arts, which is headlining Billie Dean Thomas and Red Shades, and that is December 8th.
Wow.
yeah.
So I hope you guys all heard that. And she has a lot coming up.
Yeah.
Please support Oompa. Come to the show. I'm going to be at the Boston Music Awards because I got to see that. I got to see that live. I'm so excited
Thank
for that.
you. I'm trying to get cute.
Yeah, you're going to be cute, girl. You're going to be looking real good. So, so you talk about new music. I know you can't tell us a lot, but like
I can tell you whatever.
Okay, yeah. So what have you been working on?
Nobody cares about what I'm doing
No,
yet.
no,
so I can
no.
tell you anything.
Yeah, what are you working on now? Is like there like an album, like proposal, or like what's
So I'm working on a new album. I just went up and did a retreat with my engineer, Hamstank. He's so dope. I went up with him to Vermont this past week, and we just spent every day of that week recording the new album. And so we're gonna spend some time like putting the rest of that together.
Yeah.
That should be coming out in spring.
Nice.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
excited.
about time. I'm excited.
Yeah. Greatness takes time, so don't feel guilty
Thank
about
you.
it. It really does.
I hope it's great. I hope everybody likes it. I hope sophomore slump isn't a thing. I hope that all the people who aren't black who used to love me still love me after this album.
They gonna love you.
I hope so.
Yeah.
So that's it. And just trying to figure out how to level up.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out what's next for me. Like I love doing shows in Boston, and I'm also very exhausted. My body's exhausted.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out what is the next venture for me. You may see a film from me in the spring also.
Yes.
So,
there's a lot of new great things to look forward to in 2019. I mean, 2018 was pretty epic for you, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
So it's just gonna be, you talk about level up, you're gonna be leveling up even more and more and more.
I'm trying.
Yeah. So how can we support you, Oompa?
Well, if you have millions of dollars, that's money is priority.
Yes,
but
yes.
Also you can just listen to my music. Just tell people to listen to my music.
Where is it available? Where can we like hear it?
Yeah, you can hear it Spotify, Tidal, iTunes, any of those platforms, so SoundCloud, whatever. And the album's called November 3rd. You can listen to it there. You can keep up with me on my website at oompaoutloud.com. You can follow me at oompaoutloud at anything. Drop me a DM, say hi.
Yes. Yes, say hi to her.
Drop
say hi
a
to your girl.
GIF.
Yes.
Yeah, anything. Yeah.
Awesome. So, we're gonna pitch to your epic video. I Deserve That.
Oh,
I
word.
love this video. I love the concept and how you guys created it.
Thank you.
So
it was all young people.
I know, and I love that. And,
Yeah.
and again, in the classroom, like you said, like so
Yeah.
it kind of brought you back into that, that path that you were about to take a while
Yep,
ago. But you're still
exactly.
on because you're educating through your music.
Absolutely.
So can you pitch I Deserve That to the camera right over here?
Word. This
Yes.
song coming up right now is called I Deserve That. Shout out to Raw Arts Boston. Thank you so much for this video. It's changed my life, and you have too. I hope you like it. If you like it on YouTube. My name is Oompa. Peace.
Hey, 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 hey. Brown girl, thick waist with a smile up on my face, nigga. Tell him I deserve that. The house on the hill, savings well above $1 million, nigga. Tell him I deserve that. I see my name up in lights, run around like Tyson, and I bite like them when they earn that. This is black girl joy. When they tell you you ain't worth it cause they don't know how to hurt you, you deserve that, baby. This for the black girls and the brown ones. For the never late, the glass girls and the ratchets. To the hustlers and the hoes, busting tables, CEOs. To the trans women, pan women, gender not conforming. To the women who persist in shopping in the men department. When the world is system normal, tell the world you know you poppin', hey. Now get your racks like Serena, or get high like Rihanna. Brick shit house like Queen Latifah. Ain't got a thing like a shout out to Tiana though. And you know I gotta mention my Beyonce. Swear if I ever see her, no it's not safe. Oh, hey, word, you better watch it. If you petty and you know it, clap your hands. If you petty and you know it, clap your hands. If you petty and you know it, then you ain't afraid to show it. You don't need permission, girl. Go ahead and get it. Treat labels like caskets. If you press for it, nigga, you can have it. You could ask about me. Guess you ain't know, nigga. How you ain't know by now? It's lights out, bitch. I'm magic.
Tell him I deserve that. Tell him I deserve that. Tell him I deserve that, baby. Tell him I deserve that. Tell him I deserve that. Tell him I deserve that, baby. Tell him I deserve that. Tell him I deserve that. Tell him I deserve that, baby. Okay.
Yeah. Tired of pouring out questions over all these blessings. Now I take a shot so I can drown out all the stress. And I was pent up with aggression, turned it to depression. Thank you and myself for soaking up these lessons. Tell my sister she a victim, not a victim. Same goes for my independent women. Trying to break about this whole cookie system. I know you gotta grind, you ain't even gotta listen. You deserve that. Scream it loud so they heard that. Used to drive RAV4, wishing that I had more. Now when I'm on a hunt, I been moving like a jaguar. Used to make home out of couches. Tell them all you deserve a few houses. Fuck the words that be coming out their mouth. You know they selling salt in a drought. You drive, I strive, we can make it like a mission. What's a RAV4 ain't even really got a transmission? Good luck.
Tell him I deserve that. The house on the hill, savings well above $1 million, nigga. Tell him I deserve that. I see my name up in lights, ran around like Tyson, and I bite like them when they earn that. This is black girl joy. When they tell you you ain't worth it cause they don't know how to hurt you, you deserve that, baby.
Tell him I deserve that.
Tell him I deserve that,
Baby. Tell him I deserve that.
Tell him I deserve that, baby.
Tell him I deserve that.
Tell him I deserve that.
You deserve that.
You deserve that, babe.
Tell him I deserve that.
You can take me back.
When I was young, I'm not a
You can take me back. You can take me back.
When I was young, I'm not a kid anymore.
But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again.
Take me back.
Days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. I'm not a kid
Put that on my
anymore.
mind. You can take me back.
Days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was
Yo,
a kid.
you can take me back.
Days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was
Yo,
a kid.
you can take me back.
Days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was
Yo,
a kid.
you can take me back.
Days when I was young, I'm not a
Back.
kid.
You can take me back.
Days when I was
Back. You can take me back.
Days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore.
But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again.
Back.
Days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. I'm not a kid
Put that on my
anymore.
mind. You can take me back.
Days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days
Farenheight TV. Farenheight TV.